what that is? That's a sort of funny thing.
Can't touch you.
Hi Francis, how are you doing? Alright, Francis, just need to come around the back of the second chair. Come on, okay. Okay, there's chairs just here and just behind you. Have a seat. Right, excellent. So, first of all, we need to do our long notes, our warm-ups. So, what we'll do is start off with somewhere in the middle of the instrument. How about a C in the middle of the instrument? But let's stand up. Remember, we're pushing all the old air out. Breathing in, keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. Breathe in. Pick that C and off you go. Francis was 11 when I first started to teach him, and he's 18 now. That's fantastic. Okay, so that was such a long note, that was incredible. Next time, see if you can blow and blow until every little trickle. Francis is blind, but he's also autistic. Right, how about a G? I actually don't find it much different from teaching someone who's not blind. I suppose I've got used to it.
I play piano, I play saxophone, sometimes trombone, sometimes tubular bells, and sometimes I do a workshop with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
Saxophone's quite good because you've got buttons and it's quite obvious for a blind child to feel where those buttons are. Fantastic, well done. He has an excellent memory, and so what I do if I'm going to teach him a piece of music, what I do is I would play it phrase by phrase, chunk by chunk, and just get him to repeat each phrase back to me, and then his mind can put them together. So now we're going to go down to the lower end. If you could play the low E, but just let's think about something. Think about how it feels to ride in a train and how it can be a little bit of a bumpy ride sometimes. Other times it feels like the train is swaying from side to side. Other times it feels like the train is really steady, okay? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to keep that note as steady as possible. I find a lot of my teaching is through very descriptive language, just making sure I'm being quite clear on what I'm wanting them to achieve. Sometimes I'm using analogies, a lot of times I'm trying to think of things that relate to everyday life for Francis. Old air out, carbon dioxide out, good. Fill those lungs like a big balloon, and nice and straight, off you go. That's fantastic, lovely. And a lovely, warm, rich tone you're getting out of the saxophone, marvellous. Let's start, do you want to just have a seat for a moment, Francis, and let's work on Coming Home Baby. Okay, so Francis, let's just think about that descending chromatic line from the palm key D, okay, because it's sounding a little bit flat. It sounds a bit like... Okay, and a little bit tighter on your mouth. Can I touch your mouth? Okay, so here, just pulling it a little bit tighter, okay? Off you go. When you're teaching blind children, you need to be sure that you're aware of child protection issues. you know, if possible, keeping the door open when you're teaching, making sure that you're asking permission from the child if you can make physical contact with them. And sometimes it's asking the child to touch their own face to check that they've got an open jaw. So when they're playing higher pitched notes, is their throat open so that they can develop a really rich, warm tone. So I'm going to move to the improvisation now. We worked on the chromatic scale, we worked on the E blues scale, but remember we can use the blues notes from any part of the saxophone, okay, as long as they fit into the E blues scale. Francis has been working on improvising for probably the last 4 months or so, so that's quite new for him. Okay?
Yes.
Get ready. Let's just wait for a little introduction. So I'm going to play a few bars and then you play a few bars. Let's have a conversation, let's talk to each other, okay? I'm going to talk first, my turn first, okay, here we go. Your turn. My turn. Really today it's just improvisation. I'm always trying to get Francis to understand it's a bit like a conversation because he hears conversations all the time and that's what I think he focuses on a lot. Okay, Francis, so let's think about breaking what you're doing up into little chunks, okay? So instead of having those long sentences, lots of information, like when you hear a teacher talking and talking and talking and talking, never taking a breath, okay? Do you have a teacher at school like that?
As of now, no.
Oh, okay, well you're very lucky you made it through school without that. That's really good. Okay, so what we want is small chunks like little sentences, interesting little phrases with lots of space in between. So the idea of the head is okay, so we can even borrow that one, but you're really creative and you can come up with your own. So it might just be something borrowed from that, but then mixed up with your own ideas. Okay, and then so adding one more thing. Can you play a little phrase for me, or you can play the one I just played? I used E, E, E. You can make up your own or play mine, it's up to you. And how are you going to change that now? What can you do? Maybe add an extra note. That's great. And then add something a little bit more. Develop it a little bit more. Add something else. Very nice. You add. Okay. Good.
My playing used to sound really loud and stiff, and it was because of the reed I had when I first started. She has taught me to relax while I'm playing. And she got me a plastic coated reed, which makes it easier because the wooden reeds are difficult to blow through.
What's been really interesting for me is that how well he's able to express his emotion through improvisation and make absolute connection with the audience. Excellent. Well done you. Fantastic.